everybody, it is me, Lily from AG Crafty Life, and today I'm going to be showing you all of my American Girl doll books. I'm very excited to do this. Be sure to check out all of my American Girl dolls part 1 and part 2 from last week, but today I'm going to be showing you all the books. So I'm going to start with my historical doll books, then I'll go to Girl of the Year, and then other things, like guides or whatever. But I'm going to start with like my oldest doll, which is Kaya, and then go to my newest doll, which is Courtney, in the historical line. Here are 2 Kaya mystery books. I haven't read them yet, but I'm going to soon, I hope. But yeah, I don't have Kaya, so I don't really know much about her story, so I'm very excited to learn. And I really like the American Girl doll mystery books. I think they're really good. Here are all of my Felicity books. So I have book 1, book 2, The Travel Through Time, and then her cookbook. I really like her story. I really recommend reading them. I believe they still sell her books, even though she is retired. Her cookbook was really fun to try all the recipes. I do have the cooking show on my channel where I actually made all the recipes for you guys. So you guys can watch Felicity make them and then also make them yourself if you want. But I really like her books, and it was a really fun read. Like, I was really engaged in the story, I feel like. Next, I have Very Funny Elizabeth. This book was so good. Like, it's probably like one of the tops on my list. I really like the best friend books for some reason. But it's really cool to hear Felicity's perspective and hers. Again, if you could find this book, it's really good. They play a lot of pranks, which I just personally think are funny. And this book really lets me envision what's happening in my head. That's really good. So, if you can find this book, I think you should pick it up and read it. Next, I have Josefina's books. I believe I have her whole collection. Her books were really good. I learned a bit of Spanish, and I knew nothing about her time period, like absolutely nothing. So I feel like I learned a lot from these books, but also I felt like I was living with her, so I feel like that's a really good thing that American Girl does. But I highly recommend these books, even if you don't have Josefina. I just feel like it's a really good book to represent the time period. And you'll learn some Spanish as well. Next, I have one Addie book. It's The Travel Through Time, and I believe this was one of my first American Girl books. I don't have anything else from Addie's collection or about Addie, but I have this, so yeah. I do have the Nellie book. It was really good. If you ever get a chance to read it, I really recommend it. I mean, it was just such a good book, and I watched the Samantha movie, so this sort of went with it, but this was like a new times, and it was from Nellie's perspective, which I thought was really cool. I really like the best friend books because I have Elizabeth's, but I think they're just really good. Next, I have Rebecca's books, a few. I have book 1, book 2, and a mystery. The mystery one was really good. Like, that was my favorite of all of them. But I've always really liked Rebecca's story and just how simplistic she is, but also how pretty she is. But here's Rebecca's books. And again, I never say anything bad, but if you get the chance, I recommend reading them. I believe you can still buy them from American Girl though. One book of Kit's, it's The Mysteries of Jazzman's Trumpet. This was an okay book. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, not trying to say anything bad. I didn't seem that interested, but it was okay. So if you have Kit, like, I feel like it's a good book to read anyway, maybe if you have Kit, but for me, it just wasn't like, I wouldn't go out and run and buy this one compared to maybe like a Nellie or a Josefina, but yeah, it was still a fun read, just not my favorite from all of them. Next, we have Nenea's books. I do have books 1 and book 2, which I read and I love, and I do have a mystery. I haven't read that one yet, but I do want to read it soon. But her books 1 and book 2, the ones that I read, are really, really good. I love how charitable she is and how kind and how she's the best friend Lily. And I just love her books so much, and I just feel like they're super good. So they are one of my favorites. So if you have the chance to go to an American Girl store, or if there's an audio one on YouTube, I really recommend you listen to it. Next, I have Julie's books. I do have a mystery and The Travel Through Time. Joy's books are okay. Again, they're not my favorite. Her short film movie was a lot better than the books, or the books that I do have and read. But like hers are better than kids. They're just not my favorite. So again, I wouldn't run out to buy one if I had to choose between that or Josefina or Nellie or something like that. But they were fine. I do have Courtney's book. I believe this is the only one out so far. It was really good again. I really recommend it. I'm not really a video game person, but it was still really good. Like not my top, but it was pretty high up there. But if you do like video games and like inventing your own video games and stuff, I really recommend it. But it was still good. And yeah, like it was a fun read as well. Like I feel like some reads I enjoy more than others, but still it wasn't, it would be like a 9 out of 10, I guess. That was my historical collection at the moment, at least. I have 23 books. They're all really good again. I feel like my favorite had to be the Nellie, but again, like I read that recently, so maybe if I reread some of the ones I read a long time ago, that would change. But yeah, again, this is only my opinion, so feel free to think or say whatever you want. But again, this is just my opinion and my thoughts.